Hi Pisces, welcome to your October 2016 general tarot reading. And you may have known this if you were watching any of my other videos, but I've been soliciting opinions about whether or not to have separate love readings and general readings, or just having general readings and seeing if it shows up as love or as career or other stuff, maybe other stuff too. What else is there besides love and career? I guess spiritual situations. I don't know. But so I've been doing these general readings this month in a bit of an experimental state of mind, where I want to see like what comes up, to see if you know, the love, if one thing pops out at me. Speaking of spiritual, right? Wow, getting these major arcana cards. Okay, so it looks like the theme of October will be you in a very quiet state of mind. This is something that you're very capable of doing. For some people, this might be the sign of Virgo, figuring into your life in a substantial way. Of course, as I am recording this, because it's the 14th of September, in just a couple of days we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So if you happen to watch this before that date, or I shouldn't say before, even after that date, what is happening is that you're experiencing a very potent full moon in your own sign. So that aftermath may really be, you know, with you throughout October and maybe going even into the new year, because the eclipses can last months in terms of their effects. And so some of you, even before the eclipse happened, may have felt that you were nearing the end of a cycle, nearing an end. But it's very personal for you, because it's like almost like a way of being, a way of either, you know, how you present yourself to other people, or maybe even letting go of stuff related to the past. And it's a very powerful energy, so it might really feel like a rebirth in a lot of ways after the initial experience, I suppose. And so then, you know, in October, at the end of the month, you have this new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is a fellow water sign, and therefore it forms a nice angle with you. And I want to make sure that I get this right, because I've been I've been kind of like going, okay, now what is the, yeah. So Scorpio for you is the 9th house. And that's where the new beginning is for you. And so whatever is going on, it may have to do with the way that you view life itself. You may have a whole new philosophical framework. You might have a whole new, I don't know, maybe you're going to move like far away. It could be foreign travel. Maybe it's not so much that you're going, when I think of a new moon though, I think of new beginnings related to a foreign land, or maybe you're going to go back to school. The 9th house can be higher education. So it really is about expansion though, because Jupiter rules that house. And I also connect it with, you know, this is the 9th card, and a lot of those themes can relate to what the Hermit represents. So I feel like you're going to be doing some deep thinking in October. In any case, now, in the recent past, we have the Knight of Swords. This, you know, knights and all the court cards could relate to actual people. So maybe there was, I think in some cases, you know, the Knight of Swords can actually relate to a lawyer type of person. So for some of you, it might have been that you were in the midst of a divorce or seeking the counsel of such a person. It might be somebody that you've decided that you don't really necessarily want to be with, and so now you're like keeping to yourself. So it could be somebody that is a Gemini, an air sign person, Libra or Aquarius. And they might have been rather abrasive in the way that they communicate, and that might have rubbed you the wrong way as well. Just like I said, for the current situation, we have this card of should I stay or should I go? Maybe I should call this the clash card, the Two of Wands. And so if you're under like 30, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, right? You don't know about the clash. In any case, the person's holding the world in their hands, so they are contemplating something larger than their own backyard. I still have to figure out what this other mysterious hand is doing. Why there's two. Now, I think it could be because the person's choosing between possibly two people, or some other person is figuring into their decision. But I can see that it is a question, it could be a geographical dilemma of staying put or going. And because we have that new moon in Scorpio on the 30th of October, you may actually decide, yes, I am going. The larger message is the Judgment card. What you sow, you shall reap. In this case, because I'm getting this card, that could be a lawyer, there could be that you're working with the justice system, and this is in an upright position. I feel that you will get what's coming to you, good or bad, but I think it will be good since it's upright. And the thing about it is that this card is also connected to rebirth. So even if you have been kind of ruminating, so to speak, and you may be even like, who knows, maybe you've been a little bit concerned about your future and trying to just hang in there, I feel like you're going to feel a sense of relief. You know, this person has their hands up, so they're really like almost like cheering on their new life's direction. And then I got the card right after it, and it's the World card. Now, because this is number 20, this is 21. This is the last card of the major arcana. The only thing about this card, in the upright position, which I actually just drew for Cancer, your fellow water sign, this can mean in the challenge position that there is like this delay. Maybe, you know, there are loose ends and you can't fully step into a new life for whatever reason. One thing that I will like suggest, and this is kind of represented by this card, this is kind of like, look, typically this card for me is advice of the kind of mindset to adopt. Well, obviously, you do not want to adopt this mindset, because this is somebody who is being held back by their anxieties, and they're doing it to themselves. Self-imposed limitations. Let me pick a card as clarification. Okay, another Swords card. So I would say first and foremost that you have to stop thinking so much. Thinking is worrying. Now, unless you're willing to, this card could be about kind of behind the scenes plotting out what you're going to do. Now, that would be very helpful if there is a situation. Maybe there is an air sign individual who is causing you sleepless nights or feelings of stress. If that's the case, then yes, you're going to have to figure out a clever way to cut that person out of your life. But if it's something that is dealing with you having to make a major decision, let's say about moving, for instance, what you can do is to, if you have a tendency to kind of talk to other people about it, maybe that is not a good idea, because this is about a card about going it alone. And I feel that with the Hermit card, you might be better off keeping your own counsel, because people that are close to you are going to have their own agenda. Okay, they don't want you to leave. Your family, your friends, I mean, you might have a few that are enlightened enough to look beyond themselves and really see that something is a great opportunity for you. But some people are going to be very afraid of losing the constant connection with you. Or it could be that they're jealous. And, you know, I don't really judge people too much for that tendency, because when people are expanding, you know, which this card can indicate, kind of like not just wanting to keep in the same place. You want to have, it's like that Dixie Chick song, Wide Open Spaces. It's like just kind of expansion, you know, and it could be on the physical level or the mental level, which the 9th house can represent. But whatever is going on, whether it's you're going back to college or whether you want to move to another country, some people will be triggered into looking at their own lives, comparing themselves to you and saying, oh, she's, you know, really, you know, doing something expansive, and I feel like I'm just stuck in the same place. And they're not going to want to support you because it makes them feel bad. Okay? And we have to be compassionate about people like that, even though they may be, you know, downright toxic for you if they are discouraging you from bettering yourself or expanding, being more than what you are at the moment. But just try to understand that it's their own fears that are causing them to discourage you, and keep your dreams to yourself, especially if they're the kind of things that threaten other people. The advice is the Hierophant. Now, this is a spiritual thing. This is about looking at the situation from more of a spiritual than a materialistic perspective. So maybe, for instance, if you have been dealing with a career issue and maybe, you know, they're asking you to relocate, and maybe it's something that you really don't want to do for other reasons, and yet the money is enticing you. But look at it from the spiritual perspective. Are you being nourished on a higher level? And do you feel like you're helping people on a higher level? That should also come into play, I think, in some way. You know, in Buddhism, they have something called right livelihood. Is what you're doing something that's positive? You know, do you make money in a positive way that helps other people. And that can be, you know, what this card, if you have a career matter that you're kind of mulling over, think of it from that perspective. And even for relationships, you know, is this relationship nourishing me spiritually? Is it just, am I just in it because the person makes a good living, or they're either the mother or father of my child, or I don't want to be alone? You know, what is the reason I'm in this situation with this person? And, you know, it never hurts to look at things from a higher perspective. And the outcome is the Page of Wands. Receiving good news. Being happy about what you hear. It can relate to a new relationship being formed. I feel like even... I think it might even relate to travel. I haven't checked that out. But anything with the Wands cards, I feel, can be a situation where you are expanding your territory. So possibly you will hear news about this. And in general, you're going to feel excited. Okay? And you know, when I think of pages and messages, I think about that Mercury retrograde. So where did that fall in your chart? Mercury was in Virgo. Virgo is your 7th house. So it could be, I was thinking even for some of you, if your ex or if you are on the rocks with your spouse, maybe you hear from them and they apologize. And maybe some of these things are halted. Maybe you don't have to, maybe you went to see a lawyer and you decide that you're going to reunite. Maybe you're going to get married. Maybe you're going to put a ring on it. Okay, because the Hierophant can refer to conforming to tradition, being more traditional. So maybe that was bothering you. You wanted to get married, the other person didn't. And they kind of like came crawling back with their tail between their legs and saying, because they missed you so much. That's always a possibility too. So Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading with me, please click on the link to my website below this video. Otherwise, have a wonderful October. Bye.